The world was a peaceful place until COVID-19 hits. The world changes. Thankfully, the vaccines are discovered.
Vaccines are celebrated for their parts in fighting diseases, but a growing group of people seems to believe that they endangers our health instead of protecting it. The internet is full of stories about allergic reactions, the onset of disabilities, and even death following vaccination's appointment. It is true that vaccine can cause side effects, but on top of that, we need to understand how it works. So now let's look at how the vaccine works and debunk some of the top myths. In order to prepare the body and let the body identify the viruses, certain molecules such as the virus mRNA or weakened virus spike must be introduced to the body to trigger the immune response. This antigen will trigger the body immune system to recognize and identify the antigen, producing specific antibodies to fight against the viruses. By introducing the antigen via the vaccination, it will induce protections against the viruses by mimicking its natural interaction with the immune system. Vaccine can reduce complications and mortality when they are exposed to the viruses. In Malaysia, as for now, we only take in and use 3 types of COVID-19 vaccines. Now, let us look at the vaccine types. This type of vaccine uses a harmless virus to be a vector to carry a genetic materials of SARS-CoV-2 virus. Example for this vaccine is AstraZeneca. The vaccine contains a segment of genetic materials of the SARS-CoV-2 virus which causes COVID-19. Example is Pfizer and Moderna. This type of vaccines contain killed or inactivated SARS-CoV-2 virus which is recognized by the immune system to trigger a response without causing COVID-19 illness. The example for this vaccine is Sinovac.
So starting off with the first myth of today. Myth number 1, vaccine production are considered unsafe if it is produced too fast. Well, currently many people in the public are skeptical about this due to the short period of time the vaccine takes to produce, which is less than a year. This causes people to fear the enhanced side effects and the reduced effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccine. But the fact is, no, rapid productions of COVID-19 vaccines are definitely safe. Just like any other vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccines has gone through a rigorous review and control process by the Food and Drug Administration (FDA). So this means that the vaccine also meets the standards set by the FDA before releasing it to the public. So really there's nothing much to worry about. However, some might still question how are the vaccines being produced so quickly? Well, there are several factors. Number 1, these vaccines are contributed by leading individuals or companies with large investments. This allows many studies to be done at one time, as well as the usage of more sophisticated technology. Number 2, this also may be because there are previous vaccine studies that form a solid foundation for the production of the current COVID-19 vaccines. Hence, the time period of its production has been shortened in a significant amount because medical professionals do not have to start from scratch. Moving on to myth number 2, COVID-19 vaccines can modify the human DNA. Well, some people believe that a substance that can boost your immunity can also backfire by modifying your DNA. Well, the fact is no, COVID-19 vaccines do not modify human DNA. You see, how the COVID-19 vaccine actually works is that they produce a ribonucleic acid messenger, also known as mRNA, which basically is a strand of information that serves to instruct the body cells to make and build proteins in response to fight the vaccine that resembles a real disease. After the body's immunity has been built up, the remaining mRNA will be destroyed by the immune cells and your body will be prepared if, touch wood, you are contacted with COVID-19 viruses. mRNA will not interact with DNA in any form or any manner whatsoever. Myth number 3, COVID-19 vaccine contains microchips. This is among the hotly debated myths on the internet due to its sensitive issue of privacy invasion. Well, the fact is, no, there are no evidence that even one of the nearly millions of people who have received a shot so far have been implanted with a tiny piece of tracking hardware. In addition to that, nano or micro technology these days, NH has not been able to create devices or detectors that are so subtle to be injected with vaccines into the human body. However, this myth is believed to have been started by netizens when they misinterpreted Bill Gates' comment on a question regarding the pandemic in a Reddit Ask Me Anything post. Bill Gates' actual response was that he predicted that one day we will all carry digital passports for our health records. He suggested not a microchip but some kind of e-vaccine card that people could flash before going into a business. Despite that, some netizens assumed that the only way to do that was by microchipping everyone, and hence the start of a wave of misinformation. Myth number 4. The person who receives COVID-19 vaccine must be quarantined for 2 to 14 days because they have the probability of transmitting the deadly viruses. The fact is no, none of the COVID-19 vaccines contain live COVID-19 viruses. What they do contain, however, are either COVID-19 mRNA, COVID-19 protein subunit, or modified COVID-19 viruses, which only imitates the virus and do not lead to any serious infection. Hence, no isolation or quarantine is required. Myth number 5. Receiving COVID-19 vaccine will make you magnetic. The fact is, again, no. Receiving a COVID-19 vaccine will not make you magnetic, including at the site of vaccination, which is usually your arm. While the COVID-19 are free of metals, nor do they contain any ingredients that can produce an electromagnetic field at the site of injection.
There is also a lot of fake news and conspiracy theories that have been popularized to the citizens and raised a lot of confusion. One of them is consuming ivermectin to fight COVID-19. No, ivermectin is actually an antiparasitic drug that is used to treat intestinal strongyloiditis and onchocerciasis. It is not a drug that is approved by the FDA for treating or preventing COVID-19 infection in humans. Plus, this disease is caused by a virus, not a parasite. So, please beware. Next, extreme heat and cold condition could kill this virus. This statement is absolutely wrong. The best way to stop the spread of COVID-19 is to really take care of your hygiene, such as washing your hands, taking a sample bath as soon as you reach home from the outside, and many hygiene-related action you can do. So, do not take it for granted.
For us to survive in this pandemic together, we only need to do it right. Follow the SOP and read from a reliable source. Where to refer to get a reliable source? Here are some recommendation websites. MKN Telegram updates about daily reports of COVID-19 cases and update SOP for each place. KKM website or World Health Organization, which is WHO website, for further update on progression and news of R&D in fighting COVID-19. Remember to fact check your reading. Let's register for a vaccine and obtain